I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려wake Can't wait no time is a game so I just put it all my way I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려wake
Crazies, you're in the lab. Lee's here. You saw that title too as well, man. We're talking about 8 new Mandela effects to blow your mind, to make you question your reality that it is that we live in this present time. With that, some of these Mandela effects might not be new to you, but they will be new to somebody else. With that said, some of these Mandela effects are also from the viewers, and if I remember to put your name down there and I don't forget to say it here, flip that around, I will shout you out there, so thank you for these. With that said, if you enjoyed this video at any time, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below about these Mandela effects and the ones you would love to talk about. Now let's get this going, man. 8 Mandela effects to blow your mind. Number 8 for you today. We're gonna go with Pikachu. Yes, the great Pokemon of all time, Pikachu, and that missing mark on his top of his tail. Yes, I remember, millions of us remember Pikachu having that black little line or black stuff on the back of his tail. I even remember one part of my reality where he actually had a lightning bolt down the back of his tail as well. But now, as you know, that it is not there. He's never had that black tip at the top of his tail ever. But if he's never ever had it, then why does The Simpsons do this? So you're telling me The Simpsons even got it wrong in our reality too? They have the black tip on the back, on the top of his tail. But how do you remember it, man? How do you remember Pikachu? Do you always remember the little black tip on the top of his tail, or even a little lightning bolt like I do in one of my past realities? Or do you remember the way it is now and always has been, with nothing at the top of his tail? Number 7 on this list is going to be the classic mountain, the monument of the Americans, of the 4 presidents, and I'm talking about Mount Rushmore. Yes, Mount Rushmore. And well, look at it. Doesn't it look really odd? Now look between Roosevelt and Lincoln. It looks like they really just pushed Lincoln so far away from Roosevelt, like they don't even want Lincoln part of this monument anymore. It looks really odd. I always remember them being so much closer than they are, and I know people can beg to offer this. It depends on the angle you're looking at it from. Oh no, they had to build him on a separate part because his head was too big. Give or take, you know, it could be either or. But check this clip out from The Simpsons.
Gracias por venir. Y no olviden comprar un zumo de naranja para el largo camino de vuelta.
Gotta admit, you gotta love The Simpsons sometimes because they always throw the truth right in front of you. Their Mount Rushmore, I know it wasn't a representative of the Mount Rushmore that we have of our 4 forefathers, but theirs was so much closer than it appears in this picture now. It's just odd to me. But what do you remember, people? Do you remember Lincoln being that far away, kind of on another side of the mountain? Or do you remember it kind of like I remember it, most of us remember him being a little bit closer, almost touching right close to him? Odd to me. Number 6 on the list, as you see right here, yes, pink penguins. Yeah, you heard me say it. Pink penguins. Have you ever heard of pink penguins in your life? Have you ever seen a pink penguin like that before in your lives? And before y'all come at me, Lee, they photoshopped it. They did what it did. No, it's not photoshopped. I went through a lot of pictures. It's not photoshopped. Them damn things are pink penguins. I've never heard of pink penguins before in my life, my entire thing, let alone I googled it too as well. And apparently penguins, you know, when they eat, they poop pink, and you know how that works, and the pigments of the pink turn brown, turns their skin and their color or their fur pink. But that's so odd to me. It would be something that I would have learned or seen on, you know, Discovery Channel or Animal Planet, because I've watched freaking penguins forever on those shows. But what do you remember, people? Have you ever heard of a pink penguin? or if you're like me, have totally been lost in the dark about this, pink penguins. Number 5 on the list is going to be that classic wing place, and you see it right there, and I'm talking about Hooters. Yes, Hooters wings, Hooters beers, Hooters everything. Hooters was the biggest thing in the world. Well, I wouldn't say totally in the world. I live in Florida, and it's a Florida thing too, so you know, I am definitely a Hooters person, but I like my wings naked with my sauce. I don't like all that breading. But anyways, that ain't the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect has to do with the Hooters logo itself. As I throw the logo up there for you, do you always remember the entire owl on their shirts or their logo? I don't ever remember them having that completely full owl on their shirts. I always remember their shirts looking like this. I know it's not the full Hooters outfit, it's the one representing for the Army and stuff like that, but I don't see the owl on that shirt. And I've done my research, and I'm looking through and I'm going through, and I see the owl all over the place. The owl is all over shirts, all over their t-shirts, all over the memorabilia, the menus. But here is a commercial, the first commercial Hooters ever
See
shot.
here on the outside, you're gonna love what you'll see on the inside. The recipe for Hooters chicken wings is so secret, even our cooks aren't allowed to know it. Do you know why our beer is so cold here at Hooters? Because we keep it in the refrigerator.
Unfortunately, that proves to us that we're still crazy, and it's never been, you know, just the letters and with the eyes, because that's how I remember it, and many people remember it too. It has always been with the owl. It has always been with the owl, and I'm really at shock at this one, and I could probably kind of see the Mandela message in between this Hooter, because you know, the all-seeing eye, or the owl, the believing and grow, but we don't want to get into it. But what do you remember? Do you always remember the Hooters shirt having the whole owl on their logo, on the whole entire thing? Or do you remember it like the way I remember it, and a lot of other people remember it, just them having Hooters on there, and maybe possibly just see the owl's eyes and just not the whole body? What do you think? Number 4 on this list, we are going to the human body. Since I just showed some sexy ones anyway, we're going to the human body, and I'm going to be talking about the location of your heart. Now, as you're saying, Lee, come on now, your location of your heart is right there on your left side, right? You know, if you're in America, you pledge allegiance to the flag, you put your hand over your heart, right? Well, what if I just told you we've been placing our hands in the wrong spot, because our heart has apparently never been right there. It never has been right there. As you see right there, it is in the middle of your chest, right between the lungs. It is in the middle. That is very odd to me, because I grew up, I learned in school, but you always put your hand over your heart, which is your left side of your chest, and it shows you exactly the movements of that and how it moved and how it adjusted. But what do you remember on this? Do you always remember the heart being where it is now, in the middle of in between the lungs, in the middle? Or do you remember it like I remember that, and millions of people remember it, right there on the left side where you put your hand over your heart to say your pledge of allegiance, or wherever you're from? Let me know about that one. With this too, the other body part that has changed, and it got brought up with one of those boxing videos I did, looking over it, and I had said Mike Tyson had knocked him in his kidney, where the kidney used to be. Well, guess what? The kidney is not where it used to be. The kidney is now in the lower part of the rib area. I mean, it is odd. It's never been there. Kidney shots were always right behind, like right on the side of your side, right? I wish I could show you what I'm doing, but you know what I'm doing. You're doing it right now. You're like, what? The kidneys are right there? Yes. But what do you think about those two? Do you remember the way it is, the way they always have been, apparently, in our anatomy, the places they have been, the heart in the middle, the kidneys right underneath the ribs? Or do you remember it the way I remember it, your heart being on the left side and your kidneys being towards the back? Number 3 on the list, since I have you thinking, we are going to the thinker himself. Yes, the classic statue, the thinker. As you see this picture right here, is that how you always remember the thinker? No, that's not how I always remember the thinker neither. I always remember the thinker, him doing that pose and his hand or his fist being right there on his forehead, and he's thinking hard. And then in another reality, I remember it even under the chin where he has his hand in a ball. But apparently it never was that way. It has always been the way you just saw it there, with his hand wide open underneath his chin. And I went to The Simpsons like I always do, because you think The Simpsons would never, ever lie to you or never get hit by the Mandela effect. But I proved that one wrong in the Roadrunner episode. Well, it's going to prove you wrong again.
Hard lad used to be.
Oh, looks like we better file a report with the Bureau of Missing Statues.
Yep. Be like that time that Rodin statue got stolen. What was the name of that statue again? Let me think. Thinking. Still thinking.
As you see, The Simpson has it as it is now, with his hand underneath his chin and open. He has it. The Simpsons have been rocked by another Mandela effect. And it boggles me, because just like I said how I remember with the hand on the fist and forehead, many other people did poses the same way I described it. And even in the statue is doing what it is now, but people are posing in that regular stance, the way I remember it, and other millions of people remember it. But how do you remember the statue? How do you remember the thinker? Do you always remember the thinker like I do and a million others do, and the ones you saw in the pictures with the hand on the forehead? Or do you remember it the way it is now, and apparently always has been since The Simpsons just told us, with his hand underneath his chin, wide open? Number 2 on this list is going to be the classic peanut butter Jiffy peanut butter. That's how I remember it. That's how I exactly remember that peanut butter. And no, I'm not talking about Jiffy Pop popcorn. I'm talking about the Jiffy peanut butter. Well, as you know, Jiffy has never existed. It has always been Jif peanut butter, and it boggles me really much, because it was kind of the peanut butter that really everybody ate. I don't know why, but it was Jiffy. It was Jiffy peanut butter, and it boggles me about this, because it's never has been Jiffy. It's always been Jif. But I don't know if you've seen that American Dad episode where they spoof a little bit. Look at this.
Hand me a magnifying glass. Which one? 5X. Look at the belt buckle on the Robin Hood peanut butter label. It's the same symbol as the dot over the I in Jiffy. It's even on Union Brand, America's first peanut butter.
Now, why would American Dad even spoof around with doing the Jiffy and doing the peanut? Even the peanut monocle, they even mentioned that. Even kind of those Mandela effects. Why would they put that in if it didn't mean anything? Or if it was not a spoof for us, if it makes sense to you, why would they put that in there? Because they're not throwing it in our faces of, oh, everybody believes it is. They're throwing it in the face because that is exactly what it is. Reverse psychology, people. But what do you remember? Do you always remember it the way it has always been, with this peanut butter being Jif? Or do you remember it like I remember it, and millions of us remember it too, being Jiffy? Number 1 on this list is going to be that classic television shows. Yes, them boys is at it again, and I'm talking about them Dukes of Hazzards, boy. I'm talking about Roscoe Pete Goldtrain. I'm not talking about any characters. I'm talking about the car, the General Lee itself. And as I throw this picture up of the General Lee, as you've seen, doesn't the color look a little brighter red than the orange it originally was? I remember the General Lee being a lot oranger than it was. I mean, even a lighter orange than I'm wearing on. Maybe a brighter orange than I'm wearing on. But I don't remember that orange-red kind of color on him. It kind of looks going to a cherry red for some reason. It's off to me. But also with the General Lee, look at the top of the hood and look at the Confederate flag on top of it. And it looks odd to me. It looks like it's turned around wrong, or it's placed wrong on top of it, or it also seems like it's just not placed right. It's just not right for some reason. It's very odd to me, and maybe that's the Mandela effect of flipping on me. Maybe I recognized it wrong or saw it wrong, and that's how it always looked. but it looks really odd and off, like he just kind of turned into something. But what do you remember of the General Lee? If you do remember the General Lee, do you remember the General Lee always being that bright reddish orange? Or do you remember it being like a kind of a rustic orange that is, you know what I'm talking about, a lighter rustic orange? And does that Confederate flag look really off, a little odd on top of that, different for some reason? I know it's odd, but it does look odd. What do you think? There you go, 8 new more Mandela effects for you, just to blow your mind, to get your day going and boggled, maybe get you to question reality, or maybe make somebody else question the reality itself. I love doing these Mandela effects. They are a great tool to wake people up, bring them into the reality that we are living in some kind of simulation, mossed up world, or some other powerful being at works. Other than that, man, if you did enjoy this, like I said before, man, y'all remember to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, leave those comments for some more Mandela effects. With that too, man, y'all remember to keep that mind open, because those eyes and Nala's will see everything in front of them. Stay crazy.
Hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.